Great my idea వచ్చింది బ్రో. Great my idea వచ్చిందా?
మన ఏం మాట్లాడు.
Am I able to everyone? Right. In the last class, we have started discussing the configuration of Hadoop in standalone environment. In this today's class, we will see the remaining part of insert configuring Hadoop in the standalone mode and pseudo distribution mode, and as well as fully distribution mode. Okay. So now, is it visible to everyone? Is it visible or not? My screen is visible to you or not? Anyone have to please respond? My screen is visible to you all. Any one of you? Nobody? Okay. Right. So in the last class, we have discussed how to install the Java because it needs Java installation. and even we have created users and the authorization keys for users also we have discussed in the previous class. Now, so after that we have downloaded the Hadoop, and as you know, we have three different modes. Okay. Now, so up to now, whatever the resources that are essential for us, we have downloaded all those things. That is, Hadoop has downloaded, and Java has installed, and even we have created users with the authorization keys. Now, let us install Hadoop in standalone mode, because here three different modes. For all the three different modes, these Java and Hadoop downloading, these process is same. Only the way which they operate is different. So that is the reason you are supposed to be set up in Hadoop in three different modes. So in the standalone mode, as I told you, both name node and data node are running at a single system with single GVM. With single JVM. Whereas pseudo distributed mode, both name node and data nodes are running at the same system with different JVMs. There we'll use more than one JVM for the processes, right? And with the distributed mode, both name node and data nodes are run at different clusters. Okay. So now let us see the difference between one mode of installation and other modes. First, we will look at installing Hadoop at the standalone mode. Right. For that, first you need to be export your Hadoop home to your local area. This is the /user/local is the local area where we will keep our Java files and all in the previous installation process. You can observe here itself. Is it clear? Where we'll keep the information for all the users. So now also we'll move our export Hadoop home to the user local /Hadoop. Okay. Before proceeding, we need to make sure that the Hadoop is working fine. Whether it is having properly installed or not, we need to be verify with the command Hadoop version, right? So that you will observe these following if everything went successful, right? So with this information, once you install all these things, so that your standalone mode of installation is over, because by default Hadoop is configured to run in a non-distributed mode on a single machine. There is no distribution process. Directly, both of them are running at single system. So that is the reason once you install the Hadoop successfully in your environment, so that you came to know your Hadoop is successful in your standalone mode of operation, right? And these are some of the commands which are used to execute any simple program. After finishing the configuration process, we will look at important commands that are needed for running Hadoop program, because commands are anyway is the same for all. Only the way which we configure is only the difference. Okay, right. Now let us see how to install Hadoop in pseudo distributed mode, right? In the pseudo distributed mode, here also both of them are in same, but we are using different JVMs, right? Now let us suppose if it is not standalone mode, we want to distribute, we want to configure it in a pseudo distributed mode. What you have to do is you just export as the way in the standalone mode. Okay, export Hadoop home into your local environment. After that, export Hadoop map read home is equals to whatever the Hadoop home. I mean, this is also be placed in the environment where we which is local to the all the users. And after that, these are the, you just remember all these things. These are the essential things that are necessary for running our MapReduce program in Hadoop environment. Okay, this is MapReduce home and Hadoop common home. You can observe all the right side part is same. All of them are placed in the same directory. Export yarn home, export Hadoop common lib into directory. See, don't worry about all these things. We will came to know while discussing the example what is the need of all these things and what contents they are supposed to be hold. So those things we can discuss while discussing the examples. Don't worry about it. Okay. Export Hadoop install. So all these are stored in. All these are mapped to the Hadoop home itself only. You can observe. And then we'll apply the changes to the current directory. Now, this is the actual part, Hadoop configuration. So you can find Hadoop configuration files in the location of Hadoop home. It contains majorly 3 configuration files. One is core site.xml and yarn site.xml. So these are the 3 or 4 different XML files where we are supposed to be modify or where we are supposed to configure our requirements so that your system will work according to the configurations which you have specified in the configuration files, right? So it is required to make changes in those configuration files according to your Hadoop infrastructure. That means suppose downloading the Java, downloading and installing the Hadoop is common. After that, if you want to operate your systems in any one of these 3 modes, okay, if you follow the first process, that means simply exporting the Hadoop home, so that your standalone process is over, where you can develop your MapReduce program and you can run your MapReduce program by following the commands. I will explain the commands at the end of this session. Okay, so by following those commands, you can execute your program in standalone environment. Instead of that, if you want to run your program in pseudo distributed mode, what you are supposed to do is, before running your program, you are supposed to configure the configuration files first. You need to make some changes to the configuration files, even for the fully distributed mode also. Once you made all these configuration files or changed it according to your infrastructure, then only you can run your program in the. See, at the outer set, if you observe, there is no difference. In all the cases, your program will produce the same output, but the way they are internally organized, the way internally they executed is entirely different. Hope you all understood. Right. Now, let us move to the directory where these configuration files are available. In that, export to Java home to user local JDK wherever the place the Java is available. Now, this is the first configuration file we are supposed to be modified. So what it contains is, it contains the local host and followed by the port number where it is supposed to be worked. So what it contains is, it contains information such as port number used for Hadoop instance, which is running in your system, and memory allocated for the file system, memory limit for storing the data, and size of read and write buffers. So this is the information which it contains. This configuration file contains, right? If you want to change this port number to some other number, you can change it. By default, it is 9000. It will be there. If you want to change it to the 7000 or 2000 or 1, it depends upon your availability of the ports in your system, right? That is core site.xml. Next one is hdfs site.xml. It is another configuration file which contains the information about the replication data, name node, data node, paths of your local file system. Okay, so Here you can think DFS dot replication. As I told you while explaining the replication, by default they are the replication factor is 3. If you want to modify, you can modify. So that here you can observe that this configuration file contains the first property as DFS replication. Okay, so here we are running in the single system. That's why we make it as a only one copy. When we are going to the fully distributed mode, there the information is distributed in clusters of commodity hardwares. So in that case, you can make it as 5 or 7. But there it, by default it is 3. If you want to increase, you can increase. But here in the case, we will make it as only one replica. And similarly, the name node directory, what is the path? Because this was already created by the HDFS. The name node directory is by default created by HDFS. So wherever it was created, that path name you are supposed to be specified here itself. Okay, in your system, wherever it was located, okay, that information you are supposed to be specified here itself. And then similarly, DFS dot data dot dir. This is the directory for the data node. This is also be created by the HDFS. You just specify the path where it is available. Okay, so with this HDFS dot site HDFS hyphen site dot XML, this file contains the information related to replica, name node, and data node. Okay, so those things you need to be set. In the above file, the property values are user defined and you can make changes according to your Hadoop infrastructure. Okay, if you want to change, you can change it, no issue. And then this is also another important yarn at another resource negotiator, which is the essential for running job tracker and task tracker, because it is the configuration settings which help you to run the job tracker and task tracker, right? So this file is used to configure yarn into Hadoop. Okay, by opening this, you just see yarn dot node manager auxiliary services map reduce shuffle. Okay, and then the remaining part again, this map reduce site.xml. Once you install this, then only this particular thing is going to be worked. So this contains some information regarding the map reduce framework version which you are using. Okay, so that information is available at map. Don't worry, in fully distributed mode we will see elaborately what is the necessity of these two, because here both the data node and name node are running at the same system. So that is the reason you may not find the difference where the job tracker and task trackers are supposed to be executed, because all of them are should execute in single system. But whereas fully distributed mode, they are supposed to be executed at different systems. Okay, there we will once again see all these configuration files, right? What is that? Core site.xml, which is used for specifying the port number of your local host where your Hadoop instance is running, and HDFS site.xml, which contains the information regarding replication data, name node, data node paths of your local file system. Similarly, yarn.html, XML, yarn site.xml, and mapred site.xml. So these are the 4 different XML files that need to be configured when you install your Hadoop in pseudo distributed mode or fully distributed mode. So now let us see the another mode of configuration, that is fully distributed mode also, and then we will look at about the some of the commands which are used for running the Hadoop program. right? So this is, my screen is visible to you. Is it visible to you or not? Okay. All right. So this is the environment, a fully distributed mode, a distributed cluster environment, where we are going to install our Hadoop. Okay. So here we need to be configure job tracker and task tracker. Okay, because they are supposed to be worked in different nodes, right? Fully distributed mode. Fully distributed mode in the sense there exists one name node and number of data nodes are connected to that. Okay. Uh, that information is available at Hadoop home config.slaves file. Okay. So we'll start step by step how to configure this particular uh, fully distributed mode of configuration. So here also the first step is install Java on all machines that will be used to set up a Hadoop, right? All the data nodes, I mean all the systems which are you are going to be used as a data nodes should have Java, right? And if you are using Windows environment, you are supposed to be install all these things by following the instructions, because there the setup is different. Uh, whatever previously whatever the mechanism which we have discussed that are based on Linux environment only. Okay. Uh, these also, these are the steps also. Keep it in the point in brain, like we're going to be install it in Linux environment. But when you want to install it in a Windows environment, you are supposed to refer this where you can find the all the steps so that you can install it. Okay. All right. Now let us see how the job tracker and task trackers are going to be set up. So in each machine, create a directory for the Hadoop data. So for each and every system which we want to make it as a data node, okay. In that machines, we are supposed to be create the directory for the Hadoop dir. We'll call this directory Hadoop -data-dir. Then create 3 directories: Hadoop data dir /data, Hadoop data dir /local, and another one is name. We need to create 3 directories under Hadoop data, Hadoop _data_dir to keep the information, and then set up SSH keys to all machines so that we can log into all from a master node. The setting of HDFS describes the okay. So as I told you in the last class, the importance of SSH keys, how to make your shell as more secured. There we'll use the RSA algorithm for generation of the authorizing keys. With that keys, one can authorize it, and they are only allowed to access the data from the master node itself. Right? So that is the reason we need to install the SSH keys in all the machines. Okay, and unzip the Hadoop distribution at the same location in all the machines using, I mean, whatever the file that contains the Hadoop, that is, it is going to be unzipped and distributed to the all the systems, all the data nodes, and in all the machines, you need to edit this one. Hadoop home conf Hadoop environment.sh file, because this is by default, it is available in the Hadoop installation process. Okay, so you need to be edit this file by uncommenting Java home line to, because it contains the information of the Java where it is available at master node. Okay, now because you are running in your system, Java is installed in your system. Okay, so you need to specify the path. Your path may be different with the master node path. So that is the reason, by editing the Java path, Java home line, Java home, followed by the where the Java files are available. You just specify the address here itself. Okay. So place the IP address of the node user used as the master, because where the job tracker is running, okay, name node, we need to specify because we are supposed to be connect to it. In the architecture, if you observe, name node is going to be connected to the set of data nodes. How it will be connected? Even in your previous semester, while practicing the computer network programming lab, there also will use the server IP address for connecting your system to the server. In the similar way, here also you need to connect to the name node. By using the IP address of the name node, you can connect to that. And not all the systems are able to connect to the name node, okay, because we have installed these SH keys. With the help of these authorization process only, we are able to connect to the name node itself, right? So for example, whatever the IP address of that name node where it is available, you just imagine in our case, our server is located at library. So whenever if you want to connect to the library system, what you are supposed to do, by specifying the IP address of it, you can connect to it. Place the IP address of the slave nodes in Hadoop home slave files. Whatever the data nodes that are created need to be specified in the name nodes Hadoop _home config slave file, because whenever in future we need to communicate with the data nodes and master nodes. So in order to establish that communication, we need to specify the IP addresses of all the data nodes in master node also in the file, this particular one. Next, inside each node's Hadoop config directory, add the following to the core site.xml, hdfs site.xml, mapred site.xml. These are the three important configuration files where we are supposed to be set up, configure ourselves as per our Hadoop infrastructure, as I told you in the last session when we are discussing pseudo distributed mode. Add URL of the name node to core site.xml. Here you can, there simply we can specify the localhost 9000, because all of them are running in the single node. But here we need to specify the URL name node to Hadoop, wherever it is running, that URL to the this particular configuration file. There also it is the same, here also it is the same, only wherever the master node is running, that URL is going to be added to this particular place. Similarly, hdfs site.xml, which contains information regarding replicas and name node and data node. So here dfs name dir, this is the location for, this is the directory which is created for name node, and this is the directory which is created for data node. So these are also be placed. And then mapred site.xml, because add job tracker location to this particular file. Okay, so wherever the job tracker is running, that IP address will be placed. Usually wherever the name node is running, the same place. Okay, but here the port number should be different. If you give the 9000 again here itself, there will be a conflict. Conflict in the sense which is already allocated to this particular one. So you might get some sort of conflict in it. So that is the reason here we will specify another number in order to avoid the conflicts. Wherever the local directory, that local directory also you need to be specified. Similarly for the task tracker also. Don't worry, these are all we are supposed to be used. Okay, while running the programs, you came to know the importance of all these things. Okay, after installing, after specifying all your configurations on the configuration files, are once it is they are edited, you can format the name node. Initially, we'll clear the data in the name node by using the command Hadoop name node -format. So which clears the data which is present in the name node. Now it is fresh. Okay, and then you can write the command bin start dfs.h, which is used to start the name node, data node, job tracker, and task tracker. So this is the single command which is used for start all the services. So before going to develop the programs, one should start all these name node, data nodes, and all. So for that, you are supposed to use the command start-dfs.sh. Okay. Uh, and verify the installation by listing the process through the grep command, grep java command, or you can, okay, these are the things which are used for verification, because as of now you have not installed it, so that you may not understand how to verify all these things. Very soon we will see these are how this name node and data nodes are running at different systems, the IP addresses and ports and all. Okay, while running these programs in our laboratory. So this is the command which is used for listing. LS stands for list the files which are present in this directory. Okay. So this is a simple information regarding configuration XML files and setting Hadoop in 3 different modes. So you just remember once again, I'll quickly explain the important points where we are supposed to be understand is, first we need to be create the users, and then we'll install the Java, and then we'll install the Hadoop. If you want to execute your Hadoop in standalone environment, simply you can export the Hadoop home to the local environment where your Java files are available. Okay, there ends the installation of standalone mode is over. Whenever if you want to install it in a pseudo distributed mode, you need to be modify the configuration files like core site.xml, where it contains the port number of the local host where your Hadoop instance is running. Okay, and HDFS site.xml, where we can change the configurations regarding the replicas and the path of name node and data node will be specified with that. And ARN site.xml, where we can specify the map reduce framework which is used in our current scenario. Okay, so these are the configuration files which we are supposed to be configured for both pseudo distribution mode and fully distributed mode. So in the pseudo distribution mode, we need not focus on much more on these directories, because there the data node is also running in the same, but here it is different. Where in the fully distributed mode. Okay, as I told you, job tracker is running in the name node system, whereas the task tracker is running in the data node system. So this is about the configurations and setting up of Hadoop in the standalone environment and all 3 environments. So you have any queries? Otherwise, we'll move to some of the commands which are used for executing any MapReduce program. Any queries? Okay. Now, let us see some of the commands. See, these are the commands as I told you. Hadoop user. Hadoop user is the user which we have created. Start dfs dot sh and start yarn.h also, because job tracker and task tracker also need to be run. So that is the reason you need to start all, or simply you can start all. Instead of specifying all these things, start -all.sh, which will run all the name node, data node, the job tracker and task tracker are started. Okay, you want to check whether they are running started or not. You just use the command jps. Okay, so if you type the command jps, you will observe this information like this. These are the port numbers where they are running: jps, secondary name node, data node, resource manager, and node manager. If you want to stop the services, simply you can stop by using the command stop -dfs.h, stop -yarn.sh. So these two things you need to be checked before starting. You need to run these two commands and you can verify whether they are started or not. After completion of your task, you need to be stop it by using the commands stop dfs and all. Now let us see a simple example word count program, where a file consisting of a set of words, we need to produce the output as how many number of times the word, a particular word is repeated in a given file. So that is the output which we are expecting from it. For that, we have developed a program. So here, I don't want to discuss about the program itself. I just want to discuss about how to execute this program, because these are the commands which are common for everyone. So first we need to create the user CD desktop. We'll create a CD desktop, and then we'll create this HD user is the user already created. Okay, so in that you can create your own desktop and you can create your own directory on it. So here CSC 000 means in the previous cases we have used it for specifying the roll number. CSC, your roll number in the sense last three digits. Okay, and we'll go to the directory. Okay, and then there we will create there we will open our editor for typing the program. vi word count.java. This is the command which is used for open the notepad editor in Linux environment, right? Where we can type all this program. Okay, and after completion of this, you just come out of the editor and you can run these following commands in your command prompt. So HD user desktop, this is the place where you are, and then you can create another directory for the input, and you just move to that place, and then you can give, you can open the, or you just try to create an input.txt, right? So automatically it opens a notepad. There you can type whatever the number of words which you want to supply as an input to your word count program. Okay, because in our scenario, what we require, input is supposed to be required, and the logic, MapReduce logic we require, because input file is going to be divided into parts. You can see the diagram. Input is going to be split it into parts. Those blocks are supplied to the data nodes where the task tracker is executing. Okay, task tracker in the sense where the MapReduce task is executed, and then we'll produce the output. So here at the outset, if you observe, we need to have input file followed by MapReduce logic followed by output file, right? Because this input anyway is supplied to the data node with the help of job tracker. Okay, and this MapReduce is executed on the data nodes, and whatever the output that they are produced, they will be stored in the output file. So here we require 3 different files for processing of any example. So that is the reason here we need to create an input file, and that after that we just move to the directory input. See what is WC classes? We'll create make a dir WC classes. What is the use of these WC classes? Which contains the class file. As you all aware of that, whenever if you compile the Java program, it creates the class file with the name of the class, with the name of the class, with the name of the class, because the class file is going to be executed. Because it is a platform independent one, you need to move your class file from this environment to other environment. There also it will be executed, right? So the WC classes is a directory which contains the class files. Okay. Now before going to generate the class files, what we have to do is export Hadoop class path to the Hadoop class path. We will assign this. Okay, and we will print the class path here itself, whether it is successfully created or not. Here you will get actually some information regarding this class path and all. And after that, so Hadoop FS mkdir. So this is the place where our Hadoop environment we are supposed to be processed, because up to now we have created everything in the our local system, your system itself. Now you want to be upload it into the HDFS. What you have to do is you need to move to this environment, Hadoop FS mkdir. And there also we will create our directory with the same our register number, and there also we will create the directory input. So once you create the input directory in that HDFS environment, what happens is we will place what you can observe this home HD user desktop CS. This is the path which we have created here itself. Okay, so whatever the content that is available in this directory will be placed into the HDFS with the help of put command. With the help of put command. Okay, is it clear to everybody or not? And then we will run the program javac -class path. Okay, D javac class path. This is the one command we are supposed to be execute before running our Java program. Okay, and then wherever, see you can observe this is the path where our Java program is available, and we'll move the Java classes, whatever the class after executing this word count.java program, it is going to be generate a class file. That class file will be uploaded to this particular one. Okay, and the jar file, because here it is executed using jar one only. So don't worry, we will run one after another. You will get idea how it is going to be executed and all. Until then, it is something confusing to you. What is the use of this? Why you are supposed to execute this command? These things, there are so many doubts that can be arised if you are observing in this way. Okay, don't worry. While executing the program, all these commands are supposed to be executed for each and every one, for each and every program. Okay, so you will become an expertise in while running the programs in real-time scenario. All right. So the jar files, once it was created, okay, then only your program will be executed. And even if you want to see whether the output is created or not, as I told you, output will be stored in some other file. Okay, so this is the command which is used to view the output in the HDFS, where the output is available in output directory. So in that place, if you observe, you will get the information like this. This is the information which is written in the output directory. So this is the input which you have given, and this is the output which you are at. For the better understanding, I'll copy this, paste this information here itself. Okay, now you can check whether it was counted successfully as the way or not. Hi was repeated 2 times. Here also it was repeated 2 times. And new, it was repeated 2 times. Okay. Lab is only 1 time, and WLCOM, welcome, is repeated only 1 time, and BDA is repeated only 1 time. In such a way, it will count all the words, how many number of times that they were repeated. Okay. The output which we are observing is very happy, but the thing is, how it is going to be generated first time when you are running all these commands, you may feel it is somehow inconvenient for you, but slowly you are supposed to be adapted. Right, that is about some of the important commands which we have used for running any Hadoop program, MapReduce program, not Hadoop, MapReduce program in any of the environment, whether it is standalone mode or it is pseudo distribution mode or it is fully distributed mode. Okay, only they are differing the internal process, not the external mechanism. Hope you are clear with this. So that is about the configuration of so there ends your second unit also. Let me check the syllabus. In the second unit, what we are supposed to be discuss: Google file system, HDFS, building blocks of Hadoop, secondary node, job tracker, task tracker, introducing and configuration Hadoop cluster in 3 different modes, and configuring XML files. Okay, so this is the syllabus of second unit. This was also covered. So in the next class, we'll start the third unit. All right. So any queries? So any doubts? Today's absentees are 15, 34, 43, 59, 72, and 96. Any queries? Okay. I'll share this configuration document with you, and even the material for the second unit also in your group. You please follow it. And in the next class, we will start discussing the third unit. Right? Okay. So now I will end the meeting. If you don't have any queries. If you don't have any queries, I'll close the session now. Okay, thank you.